It's kind of surreal to have my high school teacher and football coach be on the presidential ticket, but really exciting.
Mr. Walz.
All right, this was my brainchild back here.
Oh.
Okay.
Tim Walz was definitely everyone's favorite teacher. He would shake hands and say hello to everybody in the hallways, and he had this way of making you feel like you were seen.
Even if you weren't in his class and he didn't have you as a student, he would know your name.
You never had a problem when you got out of the locker room finding out where Coach Walz was because he was loud and boisterous.
He's a really important person to Mankato West history.
Mr. Walz was so passionate. So in the classroom, he would walk around the room, he would connect, really look at his students in the eyes. I don't think he ever sat behind his desk.
Gwen was just as prolific as Tim.
Mrs. Walz was by far one of my favorite teachers, but definitely not because she was easy.
She said, well, I'm not like my husband. I'm not like the Easter Bunny, just giving out A's.
In the yearbook, I think Tim and Gwen were rated mom and dad of the class.
A lot of times in politics, we don't always get the true self of the person we're voting for reflected on our TV screens. In this case, we do. The guy you see on TV is the guy who taught us.
Nobody was surprised that he stood up to be the staff sponsor for the Gay Straight Alliance, and I think he's continued to show that he's invested in those exact same ideals.
I was one of the founding members of that group. Jake Rayton was a good friend of mine in high school, and he was one of the first people to come out.
When I decided to come out as gay, we started the Gay Straight Alliance.
We just decided as a group of friends that it would make sense to have a more formal presence to signal to other students that this was a safe place, and the Walzes were really instrumental in making our school feel safe.
I'm Asian American, and I was one of maybe 10 kids of color in my entire high school graduating class of about 300 students. He had this really innate way of really making you feel seen, making you feel like you mattered.
When he would come back and talk to students, he would always tell kids, when you see something that's wrong, you need to stand up and do something about it. And I think that's what you see from Tim time and time again.
So when I first started going to Mankato West High School, Mankato West football was not necessarily the program that it is now.
The program was really struggling. We went through some very, very lean years. One of the big things that really helped us get better along the way through that transitional period was Tim's ability to build relationships with students.
I saw him helping some other young men on the team who were going through family and other struggles. He would take them under his wing and really just try to give them some positive encouragement as a man in their life.
He was an individual that gave very passionate pregame speeches.
It's the fourth quarter!
And it would build and build and build.
We're down a field goal!
And then everyone was ready to run through a brick wall.
Our job is to get in the trenches and do the blocking and tackling.
One of the things that I remember most about that season was just how much we loved going to practice, both as coaches and players.
He led our defense and gave guidance to all the players on that team to implement a plan.
I'll never forget interception late in the game, the championship game, that we knew was going to clinch it. When we won the state championship with Coach Walz, it was just pure jubilation.
And the first championship for Mankato West. What a game. You got to respect the Blue Jackets' resiliency.
It's a feeling that I'll never forget.
When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win.
What you see on stage now is literally the same person I saw out on the field or in the locker room. There's a lot of energy for Kamala and Tim, and I'm hoping that they do their role as our linebacker.
He's the exact same person today as he was in the classroom. He believes that there is a good in everybody. What their alternative is, I don't know, but it's definitely the opposite of what Tim is.
Harris-Walz and them supporting middle-class families, they're helping create a stable, better life for people so we can focus on what matters.
We have an opportunity to bridge some of the incredible divides that we have in this country.
We only get through this life with each other's help. That mentality is what Tim Walz has carried with him, and I think he'll just take that mentality and expand it to the entire country.
He is the neighbor next door that lends his hand and helps. He connects with us like we are regular people because he is a regular person.
He's a totally normal dude. Tim is us.
I agree. We are Tim.
I'm just so excited for Tim.
Who better to be the vice president than your next door neighbor who's a good neighbor?